You may have heard of some of the horror stories and scams that can occur when buying goods from China. So whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned importer, these tips are crucial for safeguarding and protecting your business. The first tip I will give is use reputable platforms for first-time transactions. If you're doing business for the first time with Chinese suppliers, it's best to use platforms like 1688, Taobao, and other platforms like Pinduoduo, etc. because in their platforms, they have mechanisms in place to protect you. So if you need to get a refund, there is a process in place where the risk is not borne by just the buyer, but also the seller. Essentially, these platforms, you make the payment and then they hold it escrow until they can confirm that you have received the goods and you have confirmed on the website, and then the supplier will receive the money. So it is a good method to protect you. In the event, unfortunately, if you were to get scammed, there is a system in place to request a refund, whether you return the products or just ask for a refund. It is quite a lengthy process if you don't know what you're doing. Fortunately, I have videos in my channel for Pinduoduo refunds, Taobao refunds, and 1688 refunds in great detail, and you can view them later on. The second tip is when you're going offline. Now, this is quite risky and I don't recommend doing this for first-time buyers. But if you already build a relationship of trust with a supplier, always have some kind of a contract or pro forma invoice in place that says I am paying for these goods at this time and what conditions that I'm paying them for. Am I doing X works where I deal with the shipping from the port all the way to my final destination overseas, or are they doing DDP, deliveries duty paid, where they are in charge of the whole process from manufacturing the product to shipping it to your country? Now, be aware, most of the suppliers, if you're looking at the domestic market like 1688, Taobao, Pinduoduo, won't provide that service. You usually need a freight forwarder, but it's good to get those details down on paper. Sometimes you'd be surprised that some of these suppliers may already have shipping channels that are even cheaper than the ones you have now that can help you do your business. In addition to the contract, I highly recommend that you get as much information from the supplier as possible. Just a tip, if I pick a random supplier for a product, let's say I'm going to pick a random product here, you want to get at least, at a minimum, their business license, their contact number, and their physical location. So here you can see these, when you look at a product, you can see the details of the supplier here. You want to look for their business license, how long they've been in business, their contact number. Usually most of it can be found in 1688 or verified platforms. This is the first step. And you want to also know what their local communication methods are. So if you need to get a hold of a police, you want to know how you can get a hold of the police. Now, I am explaining like worst case scenarios here, but it's good to have this information because if you don't speak Chinese, at least you have some information that you can report if something were to happen. However, I recommend having some kind of an agent on the ground to assist you throughout this whole process, because if you don't know how to contact the local police, which they barely speak English, then no record can be done and you're essentially screwed. Now, I'm not saying if you have a local person that knows how to contact the police, has the phone number, has the details of the business, that you'll get your money back. That's not making any promises, but at least you're bettering your chances to have someone locally do an official report that's in their system where they can conduct an investigation and maybe get your money back. As someone who has been a victim of a scam, it's not always rainbows and unicorns. Sometimes you just don't get your refund back, but at least have that information as collateral. So if something were to happen, even if you have a contract in place, there's someone on the ground that can help you deal with the situation, preferably someone who can speak and read Chinese and deal with the local authorities. Now, the third tip is when you're dealing with payment terms for larger orders. As you scale, of course, your orders are going to be larger and they're going to consist of larger volume. You want to structure the contract with a supplier to deposit a certain amount first. For example, let's say the whole cost is around $100,000. In the contract, you can say, I'm going to put a 20-30% down payment so you can at least get the funds necessary to manufacture the goods. And then I'm going to have a middleman or some kind of a inspector, or maybe they'll even do a video chat with you to see, okay, is the product to standard? Are they making it to standard? They've already made the first batch. Then once you're satisfied with that, then pay the rest of the 60% or whatever you have on contract. And this leads me to my fourth point of discussion, is the importance of professional inspections. As you become bigger, it won't hurt you, it will just help you to have a professional third-party inspector or a shipping agent that can inspect quality and the quantity of goods as they're received. From my experience, there are a couple types of shipping agents. The first one is they do absolutely zero work. You just say, what are you sending? Give it to me and I'll send it to you. But I'm not gonna open the package. I'm not gonna inspect anything. Don't expect me to deal with any return. I receive the package and I send it. I'm not even gonna look inside the package except for like the x-rays to make sure it's not something illegal or contraband, and I'm shipping it. No more service. Don't expect anything else from me. Then there are other shipping agents that do more service. Of course, they're not going to be the cheapest, but you can have an ease of mind knowing that they'll take care of you by making sure that you have all the right products at the right amounts and the right quality. Sometimes these shipping agents may even go to the factory and do the inspection if it's quite local. Of course, they'll charge you, per man day on the fees for that, and it will definitely alleviate a lot of hassle so that you don't have to worry about being scammed by any business partners. Now, we also provide these services in Borderless Commerce. If you need assistance with not just looking for the product that you need, but also with the inspections to make sure it's up to standard so that it can be shipped to your final country, feel free to scan the code and try it out free on your phone or your desktop. So the fifth point I'm going to be making is when you're dealing with used goods market in China. Now, I get frequently asked, is there a market there to buy used iPhones or used, tech products so that I can resell them? And the answer is yes, there is, but you need to be very careful on how to use this. For example, there's a platform called Xianyu, and I've made a couple videos about how to protect yourself, talk to suppliers, and actually use this. Think of this as the eBay of China. It's not so much B2B, but it's more so C2C. It's like peer-to-peer. So like I want to sell a tech product. It's been sitting in my house all day, so I'm going to post it online for a used price, and then I'm going to give it to you. Now, this could be a great opportunity, of course, that you can see and buy products at very discounted rates. It doesn't mean that it's free of scams. Of course, people are going to be posting stuff there that are just not true. Sometimes they're too good to be true. So that's why I would recommend, if you're using a platform like this, is that to know the rules of the platform. Because if you don't respond fast, you could lose all of your money. It's a good thing I have a full video on how to use Xianyu step by step. But from personal experience, if you don't know what you're doing, there is a time limit to deal with scams on Xianyu. And it can range. It can be between 3 to 5 days. And if you're not responsive, and if the scammer knows that you're not responsive, you're going to lose the opportunity completely to get your money back. So be very careful when using these used platforms or used goods platforms in China. Although it is possible if you know what you're doing, and it can be very profitable if you know how to find the products, it is always good to take caution and have someone in the middle deal with the transaction that know what they're doing, instead of you have the potential to lose all your money. Again, these tips are not to scare you from starting your business where you source goods from China. That is not what I'm trying to do, but it's important to stay and be protected. If you found this information helpful, please like and subscribe, or share it with someone who can benefit from it. If you want to know step by step on how to get a refund on 1688 if you were a potential victim of a scam, watch this video right here.